Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the show, and we're just going to get right to it. So, we know the elephant in the room when it comes to the Dallas Cowboys. The rumor is that Deion Sanders is in very serious talks and is inquiring about being the next head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. Now, we do know, even though I did not make a video on it, that Mike McCarthy is no longer the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. He was released on Monday, shockingly, with the reports coming out that Dallas was going to let him play out his contract and let him become a free agent, which is very rare in the NFL. So it was just the beginning of Mike McCarthy's doomsday. And Mike McCarthy was there for 5 years, and he made the playoffs 3 out of those 5. And the 2 playoff appearances that he did not make this past season was one of them. He led the Cowboys to a 12-5 season in 3 straight seasons, with 1 playoff win to show for it. Now, to get to Mike McCarthy, let's just talk about him right fast. I think that was the right decision on Jerry Jones's part. I believe in no form or fashion that Mike McCarthy needed to be back next year. I think the team needs a new voice. It needs new culture. I don't think Mike McCarthy is the one that needs to do that in Dallas. Dallas needs they need a drastic change when it comes to culture, and I don't think Mike McCarthy was the person to be able to bring that, because I think Mike McCarthy is a very likable guy. The players love him. Me personally, that is just something I want my players to like the coach, but at the same time, the coach needs to get on them harder. I don't see Mike McCarthy getting hard on his guys in practice during the game, saying you got to play better. Hey, he might surprise me, but from what he's just very they need somebody hardcore, somebody that can get under their skin and put a fire up under their butts and make them play better. Also, schematically, I never cared for Mike McCarthy's play calling. We know his wide receiver routes. I could never stand them. And to the next point, the team was undisciplined. We always led the league in penalties. A lot of that is not Mike McCarthy's fault, but at the same time, that is your job. You got to get the guys disciplined. And I know that was probably the last thing I was going to say, but the last thing being clock management. He was the worst at it. One of the worst. He called timeouts when he didn't need to call a timeout. He never called timeouts when he needed to call a timeouts. The boneheaded penalty, it was just a whole bunch of stuff. Penalties, clock management, terrible offense. It was a multitude of things. And that leads me to the main man of the hour. Primetime Deion Sanders. Now, right here, we are just going to get to the reports of what's been going on. And the news broke from Mr. Jordan Schultz Monday from Fox Sports, saying that Jerry Jones reached out to Deion Sanders and that he was listening and talks were ongoing. And it's been speculating and brewing ever since. And I've been waiting to see and let the story evolve. But today, it's probably got to the hottest it's ever going to get. So today, Adam Schefter was on Get Up ESPN, and he had this to say. There was a video, but this tweet highlighted what the significance of what he said. A lot of people out there now are saying that Deion Sanders is using this as a leverage ploy to get more money from Colorado. Deion said, and I quote, "That ain't true. I don't need any negotiation ploy. I'm me," which I too somewhat believed that. I thought Deion was using this to help Colorado give him either a new contract extension, or, as we're going to get to, boosting the NIL and the money for his staff, for the players and the coaches. And Ed Werner and James Slater had this to tweet today. 2 very, very loyal Cowboys beat writers. Anything that they can say, I take their words for it. This is what Ed Werner had to say earlier regarding Deion Sanders. I'm being told that he would almost certainly accept if Jerry Jones offers to make him the next Cowboys head coach, that those around him are encouraging him to pursue it, and that Jones is enamored with the idea. That was the big tweet of today. You see, it's got 1.6 million views. And lastly, the lady herself, the one who is the Cowboys' #1 beat writer in James Slater. One thing to watch following Jerry Jones and his initial discussions with Deion Sanders two people with acknowledgement with the situation tell me Sanders approached Colorado's athletic director, Rick George, Tuesday about additional money for NIL and his staff. He was met with resistance. The University of Colorado would neither confirm or deny the information when I reached out. Deion Sanders didn't respond when reached multiple times for the comment. Now, that is what's going on with the Twitter side of things and what's happening. And I'm just going to give you my speculation on it. And who should be, the question of the day is who should be the next head coach for the Dallas Cowboys? And it is without a doubt Deion Sanders. The number one issue with the Cowboys right now is culture. What's the word I'm looking for? They're too privileged. They think that it is a privilege just to wear the helmet, and they don't want to go out there and play their hardest. They feel like they are owed something. They feel like just because they are a player on the Dallas Cowboys that they are owed everything to them. And that is the problem with the Cowboys. They don't have that I need to go get it attitude. They don't have that I need to get better today attitude. Now, I'm not speaking for all of them. I'm talking about the majority. I understand the Micah Parsons of the world. He's got that dog mentality in him, and he shows up every Sunday. But not everybody has that. The Cowboys need a culture shift. And it starts at the top with Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones's problem, he is a narcissist. He wants to win his way. He wants the team to be ran his way. Everything runs through him. What is the number one thing that could happen or person that could come in and change that dynamic? And the only person out there right now that can do it is Deion Sanders. You want to know why? Deion Sanders is a bigger headline than Jerry Jones. He is the one who runs stuff. You think Deion Sanders is going to walk into Jerry World? He's going to walk into Arlington, Texas, AT&T Stadium, the Star at Frisco. And you think that he's going to let Jerry Jones run his football team? It's not happening. Did you see what Deion Sanders did for Jackson State? Did you see what Deion Sanders has brought to Boulder, Colorado? The media attention, the shine, just the shine he's brought to college football itself. Deion Sanders, if he was to be the head coach for the Dallas Cowboys, he is the Cowboys. When you tune into a Cowboys game on Sunday, if Deion Sanders is the coach, you're tuning in for Deion Sanders. When we watch Colorado, we tune to watch Deion Sanders and Shedeur and Travis. If Deion Sanders is not at Colorado next year, nobody's watching Colorado. Deion Sanders said it here. Said it in the tweet. He is him. And you want to know another reason why Jerry Jones can't tell Deion Sanders what to do? Because Deion Sanders has done it as a player and a coach. He's been successful. He's turned a Division I FBS program around at Colorado. He turned around an FCS school in Jackson State, HBCU. In the NFL, he won 2 Super Bowls. He is the best corner to ever play in the NFL. He's arguably one of the top 5 players to play the NFL in my opinion. Because a lot of people's eyes, he played all 3 positions. That immediately puts him as a top 3 player, in my opinion, in the NFL history. We're talking about Primetime Deion Sanders. He understands how to deal with that shining light in Dallas. He knows how to deal with it. He is a shining light, and he knew how to win. He backed it up. That is Dallas's problem. They are the shining light, and they don't know how to back it up. You get all this media attention every week. You get these headlines before the game. You make these quotes before the game. And at the end of the day, the other team is ready to go into your stadium, or if you arrive to their stadium, and kick your rumps. Players know now, I want to play Dallas because they're the best franchise and they get all the headlines, and I want to smack them and embarrass them. That is what you're going to deal with when you're playing with the Dallas Cowboys. Everybody is wanting to embarrass you because it's easy to do. Pressure breaks pipes. What could Deion Sanders bring to the team? He was the light, and he went on the field to back it up. He knows. What do you think he done for all them college kids? All that media attention they're getting. Deion Sanders' son videotaping everything, posting everything on Instagram. Everybody getting the behind the scenes look on what on Deion Sanders' speeches in the locker room. And you telling me they were able to win like that, and he couldn't do that in Dallas with that talent on that roster? Please. If Deion Sanders becomes a head coach for the Cowboys, I don't want to go on. They would make the playoffs next year. Even with the roster holes, I 100% believe they would get a wild card spot. I don't think they would win the division, but they could fight for a wild card spot. I 100% believe that with all my heart. Deion Sanders, he could do something that no other coach has done in a long time in Dallas. And that is why I'm going to move on to my next point. Here's the reasons why some may believe that Deion might not take the job. Number one, it's what he said he's been saying for the longest time. He wants to coach his son. He wants to coach one of his sons in the NFL. And like in the video, Adam Schefter debunked that. He said he actually would be open to coaching Dak Prescott. That was one argument. The argument is a lot of people say he could make more money in Boulder. He could keep being with the kids. He's always wanted to be with the kids, and he loves what he's built in Boulder, and he thinks he can build upon it in the hopes of winning a national championship. That is the second argument to that. So the one being, he don't want to go to the NFL unless he coaches his son. So if he goes to Dallas, he's not going to coach his sons. And number two, he loves coaching kids in general. And he said for many times he don't want to deal with NFL guys because they're lazy and entitled. Fair point. But this is the reason why this would persuade Deion to go to Dallas. You ready for this? The Dallas Cowboys is the only job that Deion Sanders would ever consider. If there was an outlier job, the Dallas Cowboys is that job. He's not coaching the Raiders. He's not coaching the Titans. He's not coaching the Bears. He would not coach any other team in the NFL besides the Dallas Cowboys. I promise you that. It's the Dallas Cowboys, the biggest franchise in sports. It's a team that you used to play for. It's a team you won a Super Bowl with. And you're friends with the owner. And if anybody could get to his head, it would be Primetime Deion Sanders. We all know how Jerry loves his guys. He loves Deion Sanders. He has a great relationship with Deion Sanders. Deion Sanders has been invited to many games. That is the one person that Deion Sanders is the one person that can get to Jerry Jones. And the last and most important point, Deion Sanders is about headlines. He wants all the headlines, all the media headlines, the popularity. What is the one most popular thing he could do than anything he could ever do at Boulder, Colorado? He don't even have to win the Super Bowl. You know what Deion Sanders can do? He can get the Dallas Cowboys to the NFC championship game for the first time in almost 30 years. And you telling me that won't be one of the biggest headlines in this decade? If you don't believe that, you're lying. And that is the most intriguing thing. I promise you that when Deion Sanders lays his head down at night, that is the number one thing he thinks of. And that is what I have to say about Deion Sanders. He should be the next head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. Jerry Jones, you should get on the phone. He's got a $10 million buyout. I don't care. You pay whatever that school wants from that buyout. And you give whatever Deion Sanders wants money-wise. Give him whatever he wants. Give him all the leeway he needs for the team to be successful. Give the keys to Deion Sanders. Let him crank up the Ferrari. And let's take it to the promised land. That is what Jerry Jones should be doing. I don't want to hear about Aaron Glenn. I don't want to hear about Ben Johnson. I don't want to hear about Frazier. I don't want to hear about John Gruden. I don't want to even hear about the golden child, OC Kellen Moore. I don't want to hear about none of that. Nobody else is able to change that culture for the better except for Primetime Deion Sanders. He is the only reason. And you want to know why, too, also? He needs to be the head coach. Because if Dallas is serious as they say, even though they're not, if Jerry Jones is as serious and he knows his time is soon to be up in this world and he wants to win a championship as bad as he says he wants to, Deion Sanders, without a doubt, is the only option to even have a chance of that even being true. Because if anybody can light a fire with that talent that Jerry Jones has put out on the field, give him credit. He for GM wise, not these last 2 years, but years before that, when Dak and Den was going 12-5, the first 2 years, and we knew we had the team to get there. If Deion Sanders had that team, he would have had them boys ready, prepared, and at their absolute best. He's the missing ingredient. Granted, we still need some players. We don't have the same. I'm telling you right now, even if Deion Sanders was the coach, we're not going 12-5. But I promise you, if anybody can get into the head of them guys, light them under a fire, get a fire up under their butts, connect with them, help them understand, get them in the right psychological mindset to be able to handle what it is to be a Dallas Cowboy and have that star on your helmet, that fame, that glory. Stop feeling like they're untitled and feel like they're owed everything. I'll tell you right now, Deion Sanders is going to be like, y'all ain't owed nothing. Y'all's won nothing. It would be Deion Sanders. That is all I have to say to that. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to drop a like on the video. If you enjoyed this type of commentary about sports, I have plenty of other videos about sports down below in the description below. If you like any other types of content, such as Marvel content, DC content, any type of comic book and pop culture content, I have that in the playlist down below in the description as well. If you enjoyed me and yours truly, do not forget to hit that subscribe button and tap a notification bell to get notified when each video goes live. And don't forget to drop a like on the video and comment. Do you agree with what I'm saying about Deion Sanders? Let's start a healthy conversation. I am glad to respond to anything that you guys say. And most importantly, I love you guys. Peace, love, and positivity always. And I'll see you on the next one. Love you.